Howdy, today I'll be teaching you how to build this multi-story parking lot in Bloxburg. I hope I'm any help to you. Anyway, let's get into it. For today's video, I built this sort of template and outline for the parking lot so you can sort of get an idea of where it will be on the building. So for this, it'll just be on the side. The grey cubes are building, by the way, don't judge me too much on that. Let's get into the actual building part now. Okay, so I've grabbed this large plain grey large pillar and I'm just gonna sort of make the sort of outline for the frame of it, I guess. So just plotting these pillars around. I did change some things up. I'll sort of clarify later, but as you can see, sort of just making the frame. And this size will depend on your own building, how much space you actually have, and how much money you have. This build can range from 60,000 in-game dollars to 75,000 in-game dollars, so just keep that in mind before you start and see if you can actually have enough funds to finish. So moving on, we're just going to want to stack these pillars up on top of each other. Just I'm doing mine 3 stories high. So yep, make sure that all the pillars are evenly placed around the frame. So this will be essentially your skeleton of your parking lot. So just want to be careful with that. And I'm also adding these round thick pillars, because these will be the sort of separators and dividers between sections in the lot. So, yep, remember, just place these wherever they work for you. Just keep in mind some space factors and some functionality factors, which will come into play later, and I'll talk more about that later. So I added 4 of these pillar stacks in the middle, the round ones. Just move them around as you need to once you're actually designing the actual inside of the parking lot and making sure you've got enough room for everything. Okay, so moving on to the actual entrance of the parking lot, I'm just getting this short plain fence and sort of marking out the entrance to the bottom floor of the parking lot. So here I'm sort of marking it out. I sort of changed my mind on this a bit. You want to allow for as much space as possible when making this, so just keep that in mind as well. The vehicles actually need to come in smoothly and easily. They need easy access to the inside, so yeah, just remember to keep that in mind. I made sure to always leave at least 3 blocks or 4 blocks, even better, free, so that people can come in real easily, so keep that in mind. Also, the design for this parking lot, I have an entry and an exit. The exit's over there in that top corner. You can do whatever you want. You can add an exit as well. It just flows a bit easier, I reckon. Now I'm moving on to the actual ramp part. I got this long classic ramp, which will be used obviously as a ramp up to the top floors. I chose a long one. It is a bit more expensive, but it's very functional. You don't want that steep short one. So the long one is your best bet. So, and then I just colored it to match the ground. Yep. No particular color scheme with my parking lot. You can do whatever you want, remember. So yep, so just making some ramps here. I also added this railing, which pretty important if you're trying not to let people just drive off the edge of ramps and buildings. So, yep, decorated this railing a bit to match my sort of color scheme a bit, so people can actually see the rail in the dark or something, you know. Just functionality and just a little bit of realism works. So, moving on, some more fences. These are actually our plain markings, which will be our parking lot floor. Remember, plot them around wherever they fit. Just try not to have them conflicting a bit too much with other spots in the parking lot. Sometimes you'll have one short one. You can either make a sort of like medium bit, or just you can also do motorcycle parking if that works for you as well, which I'll do later in this video. And I actually decided against putting these spots there. I actually moved them around to fit a bit easier. You're gonna want to leave in between rows, leave at least 5 blocks, I think. Just so you can drive through and park and stuff easily. So yep, I added this fence, didn't like it. I recommend adding fences to the outside, like of the bottom floor, just a little bit of security. I went with the Titan fences, little expensive, but the style worked for me, so whatever works for you. Okay, so when I was plotting down these markings, I realized that I would have a 3 wide sort of gap to the wall, so I decided to actually make like an actual entrance to the building from the parking lot in this area, so I'll sort of show you that now. Yep, so here we are, not too big, just a little like sort of entrance, as I was saying. So yep, pretty easy, just add an extra wall, gives your building a bit more space as well, I reckon. So, and I also added this sort of like path section, like pedestrian area next to it, so no cars can park in this spot. You can just walk straight on into the building, easy as that. Yep, I also added some more railings to this ramp which I just added, and I also made this little no parking area for the pedestrian area, and I also made some motorcycle parking spots to go with it because I thought that would work. Anyway, I fixed up a few things before I moved on to the next floor up, so always leave room for your ramps. Kinda obvious, I didn't do it here because I forgot, as you can see. Yeah, so make sure you can actually get up to the next floors. Make sure the ramps are easily accessible and you can actually get through the top. So, yeah, just be a little careful. Anyway, I added some more pillars here because I thought it would just, I thought I'd just add any pillars where there were just unsupported edges. So, yep. Doesn't really matter if it blocks the driveway a bit because a car can still easily fit if it's 3 wide, so don't really worry about that. I added the next section to the next floor, so there we go. I reckon that's all the space we can get. I won't put any like overhang over the ramp because you might not be able to get up anymore, so yeah, so there's the bottom floor. We'll add lights last. I added these rails just for the top floors so no vehicles come flying off the edge. Anyway, just coloured those. Just put them around the edges. That's all I needed to do. I put it on the outside of this ramp here that actually goes on the outside. I fixed up the floor here because I later decided that I actually wanted to have some sort of stairwell so people can manage to get down to the first floor. So I eventually made it 4 wide so that like any stairs could easily fit in there, except for an escalator or something. It's your choice if you want to add an elevator. I didn't because I didn't have enough budget, so I just added some plain old stairs. I'll show you that in a minute. Plotting out parking spots for this floor was actually really difficult, as well as plotting out the ramp, so I moved a lot of things around, including the pillars in the center, so the central pillars and stuff, and this floor ended up having to have a little less parking than I hoped it would have, but it still works. And I added a little pedestrian area as well, because you gotta have those, you know, otherwise no one can walk around it once they park. So, yeah, moving on to the next floor. Okay, and this will be our last floor. I'll also add a roof. Doesn't really matter. You can have a roof if you want, you just don't need these extra pillars. Again, fully customizable. I'm just sort of guiding you a little bit. Okay, so again, making easy access up to the ramp. I actually decided to change it to make it a little less access so we could have more room for cars and stuff, because that's what it's all about. Yeah, so again, added railings, and then that's pretty good. Here we go, adding some more markings. The little 2-block wide gap I've left there is for the pedestrian paths, which I just I used the old, roof technique. So I'll sort of show you me doing that. I sort of did it here earlier, so just an old flat roof, just drag it along. Don't need to adjust the size at all, just the way it is will be fine. Just make sure there's still enough room for vehicles, so I sort of just made that little cut in the corner. Don't worry, it's still safe. Yep, so just bringing more spots across, and this one will have a weird gap in it, which I'm fine with. Yeah, sort of. Now with the roof, I don't think you have to go fancy at all. Just a regular flat roof is fine. Just maybe if the corners go over the pillar a bit, that's good. Just there, and then just colour it some concrete colours and stuff, I reckon. Just nothing too special. Just concrete on the roof and then concrete on the sides, and then don't forget to add the concrete at the bottom, because I always forget to do that. Because your ceiling is just going to be nothing, and it's going to be sad. So don't forget. Now, moving on to lighting, which is pretty much our last part, other than adding the stairs. All you need is these industrial lights. Just space them far enough apart. I went 3 wide, just so it's not too bright or too dark. And then I just do the same thing on every floor, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Just yeah, I ran out of money, so sorry about that. Okay, so once you're done the lights, I guess you can just move on to the stair part. I actually moved them around a bit, just these stairs, because it was a bit difficult to figure out where I was going to space them all. So yeah, I just got these attitude stairs, I think they're called, unless I just can't read. But yeah, I didn't want to colour them orange, so I ended up colouring them just regular metal colours, like the greys and stuff. Anyway, I'll show you that finish. Yeah, so I fixed up those stairs, and as you can see, they sort of just do that little zigzag up. And I decided to just use the same railing I used for the side of the ramps. The inward side, not the huge tall fence railing, just the small wire one. I also fixed this up because that was important. And we're pretty much done. If you want to, you can also do what I did in my Bloxburg Arena parking lot, which is I sort of added these nice little details on the ceilings, so like the vents, air ducts, pipes, wires, and like structural stuff. So you don't have to do this, totally optional. It's up to you if you want to spend more money on that. Without further doing, let's test it out. So I got a little moped. Hopefully actual cars will work as well, but yeah, the moped just zipped around real easily. Here's the exit only. You can also add custom signs if you want. I didn't bother, just because it doesn't really matter that much at the moment, but moped driving up around and stuff. You can go into any different parking spots, because obviously you can, and yep, works pretty well. I like it. I am happy. Okay. Hello. Okay, let's move to the stairs. Let's go downstairs. Okay. Stairs, pretty good build, I reckon. They work. They should work. And then here's this little bit at the bottom. So that's pretty much it. And that's the end of the video. If I helped you out, please like and subscribe. I hope I helped you out. Anyway, see ya. Bye.